Dealing with pain. It helps to remember that pain is part of life and that we all experience pain in lots of ways. Physical pain from injuries, accidents, illnesses, old age. Psychological pain from bereavement, loss, separation. And emotional pain. It hurts when we're blamed and criticised. It hurts when people fault find and pick at us. It hurts when we don't get the things that we want. And it hurts when we get the things that we don't want. As human beings, we also have the ability to experience empathy. So when we see others in pain, when we see our loved ones, our friends, our families, our colleagues in pain, then that hurts us too. We experience pain. It hurts when we see conflict and injustices unfold on TV. And it hurts us when we read about them as well. However, there is a well-known saying that pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. To understand this saying, it can be helpful to reflect on a metaphor taught by the Buddha in about 500 BC. He explained that to understand pain and suffering, we can imagine that we're being pierced by two arrows. The first arrow is the pain itself, the physical, emotional, and psychological pain. And the Buddha said that this pain is unavoidable, it's part of life. However, the second arrow is our reaction and resistance to the pain. And the Buddha explained that this pain is avoidable. So we tend to react to pain in two ways, either by blocking it or by drowning in it. When we block pain, this comes with this feeling of restlessness, this inability to stop. We feel emotionally brittle and edgy, anxious, irritable. And we tend to project out, blaming others. We become controlling, we carry anger and resentment, and we feel picked on by the universe. And it's when we block pain that we tend to engage in avoidance and distraction behaviours. Drinking, drugs, overspending, over-exercising, overworking, overeating. Even over-talking is a way of blocking pain. So the other way we tend to react to pain is by drowning in it. And this comes with a feeling of being overwhelmed and exhausted. We feel numb, emotionally dull, passive. We blame ourselves, beating ourselves up, having thoughts like, why me? Why is this happening to me? And how unfair is life? Drowning comes with a feeling of inactivity, the sense of giving up, a lack of interest in life. We withdraw, we isolate ourselves. So by resisting the primary pain through blocking it or drowning in it, we add a second layer of suffering. We make it worse. It's essentially what you resist persists. But that second layer of suffering is avoidable. So the first arrow, the primary pain, we can't change. Pain is an unavoidable part of life. So we're not trying to pull out the first arrow here. Instead, we're learning to accept what we can't change, so that's the first arrow, and to change what we can, which is the second arrow. So through mindfulness, we learn to relate to the primary pain differently, with kindness and compassionate acceptance, because that way we don't fire the second arrow of avoidable suffering at ourselves. And it sounds paradoxical and almost counterintuitive, but it's through acceptance that the pain lessens.